Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand.
Taka amahara ni kansumarimasu. Kamuro ni kamuro ni no mikoto mochite. Sune oya kamuri sanagi no mikoto. Tsukushi no imuka no tachihana no. Odo no awagi harani. Isogi harai tamo toki ni narimaseru. Harai no no kami tachi moro moro no maragoto tsumi kegare o. Harai namae kiyome tamae tomao sukoto no yoshi o. Amatsu-kani kunitsu-kani aoyorozu no kami tachi tomoni. Ame no fuchi koma no kimi furitatete kikoshi neseto. Kashikomi kashikomi mu aozu. Miroku Om Mikami Mamori Tamae Saki Hae Tamae Miroku Om Mikami Mamori Tamae Saki Hae Tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami Mamori tamae saki hae tamae Kunnagara tamachi haemase. Kunnagara tamachi haemase.
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life,
In accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more radiantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching. Makoto. Words of love spoken from the heart, even if awkward and stumbling, have the power to affect the hearts of others. The essence of living our faith can best be described in one word, Makoto, love. No other words are needed. No lesser word would suffice. What is missing in our world is Makoto, love and integrity. That is really what is lacking. The simplest way to know whether a person has or does not have Makoto is to see how much value is placed on promises and whether or not they are kept. People in general do not think it is so important to keep a mere promise, but truly it is, because the breaking of one's word means that the individual has told a lie, has committed a sort of moral crime. Of the various types of promises made, the one people tend to treat the most lightly is that of punctuality. You should show consideration for the person you have promised to meet. If such consideration does not well up from within, it is because you are lacking in Makoto, love. No matter how good you may be otherwise, the absence of this one vitally important quality spoils your whole being. Anyone who believes in God should do his or her best to keep promises and to be on time always. If you cannot do this, you fail the test of faith. Those who profess to believe in God should never forget this.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. This evening, I would like to share faith experience. This one is from Cirilo José dos Santos. He's from Rio Seco Johrei Center in Angola, Africa. Cirilo was introduced to our church in Angola in the month of June 2021 through a missionary. He was struggling with financial difficulties and conflicts at his workplace due to interest-bearing loans that for a long time he contracted with banks and individuals. In an attempt to pay off such debts, he made other loans, but this only made his situation worse. Thus, he decided to attend churches, even practicing self-flagellation during his days off. But still, he could not find any solutions for his situation. At work, the co-workers he borrowed money from, and the man who sold him a house he was paying installments, put pressure on him. He got to the point of having no salary because his bank discounted 100% to pay off his debts. This fact caused him a lot of suffering as he could not pay other bills. It was in this context of suffering that one day in June, when he left the church to which he belonged, he came across a Johrei missionary. They already knew each other, but they hadn't seen each other for a long time. The missionary asked Cirilo where he was coming from, how his family was, and if he was all right. Cirilo told her that he was in good health, but at work things were not doing well. So she told him about the Johrei movement, the miracles that take place here, and thus invited him to get to know our church. He accepted the invitation, and on the same day, he visited our church. At the Johrei Center, he was received by a missionary who, after carefully listening about his issues, guided him to do our basic practice of faith. Cirilo had no difficulties practicing the guidance received, and after 2 weeks, he had encouraging results. Now, the faith experience that he's actually sharing with us is related to cleaning, flower arranging, and home gardening. He now works 15 days a month and have the other days of the month off. When he goes on duty, he has no time to give service. Therefore, he tries to deeply study Meishu-sama's teachings and focuses on praying. At his workplace, the purification of conflicts with co-workers accelerated. Those individuals to whom he owes money made promises of either putting him to jail or putting him to death. As if that wasn't enough, the bank kept deducting all his wages. He was left without nothing to support his family or pay other bills. This created a lot of suffering, to the point of thinking about resigning from his job or even committing suicide. Every time he thought about putting his thoughts into action, he called or sent a message to his minister, who comforted him with inspiring words, guided him to read Meishu-sama's teachings, encouraged him to pray, and express gratitude for his purification. In the meantime, his house was visited by a group of members who, together with his wife, performed a thorough cleanup in every room of the house, arranged flowers, and set up a home garden. This practice made his wife very happy. After that, financial difficulties and conflicts with co-workers disappeared, to the point he's receiving invitations from division managers to work at other departments. There are also some co-workers who expressed the desire to know more about our church. He got the help of his company's lawyer, who was ready to defend him in court if necessary, and told him that he's praying for him and other co-workers who are having debt problems. Two colleagues got together to talk about Cirilo's situation. They decided to pay off all his debts with the condition that he later repay them monthly with half of his salary, interest-free. They advised him to continue attending our church and even inspired him to tithe, meaning donating 10% of his earnings. In gratitude for the blessings received, he materialized his special donation to become a member in order to better serve in the divine work. He feels that Meishu-sama is the Messiah awaited by humanity. By permission of God and Meishu-sama, he has guided more than 15 people and is giving assistance to a family. As for our practice of faith, Cirilo is regularly reading Meishu-sama's teachings, has a home garden, is tithing, donating for the construction fund, in addition to making daily donations. Cirilo is very thankful to the Supreme God, Meishu-sama, and his ancestors for allowing him to be introduced to this wonderful path of salvation. Very inspiring experience from Cirilo, and if you allow me, I would like to share one more experience. This time is from Brazil, is from Lucimara da Silva. She's from Barra Mansa. Lucimara suffered from depression since 2011, and in recent years, her situation has worsened severely. She completely lost control of her life. She became afraid to go out alone, avoid talking to people, and just stayed in her room without even wanting to eat. She developed anorexia nervosa and even lost 90 pounds in the process. She took strong doses of medication that kept her almost sedated. She began to depend on help even to take a shower. She couldn't take care of herself or her family. One day in July 2019, she left home in a daze and sat on a bench downtown. She was clearly upset. Then a missionary came and told Lucimara about Johrei, asked if she would like to receive it, and she accepted. She found comfort for her soul in the woman's words and in Johrei. From then on, she began to attend church, initially sporadically, as she didn't have the strength to maintain ideal regularity. Encouraged by this missionary, who began to follow up on Lucimara with all love and patience, she gained strength and began to attend the Johrei Center more assiduously. By receiving Johrei constantly, the hope of overcoming her purification was reborn, something that had already been lost after so many years of suffering. She received a daily average of 3 Johrei a day for 40 days without interruption. She was also instructed to prepare small flower arrangements, the minibana, to keep at home and to express gratitude for her life and that of her family members every day. After this period, she continued to attend church about 3 times a week, where in addition to receiving Johrei, she dedicated the reception and mitamamigaki, the dedication to cleaning home, center, office, as a polishing of the soul. Deeply grateful for this great transformation, she woke up to make herself useful and to do for others what had been done for her. Thus, Lucimara took the membership course, and in October 2020, she was blessed to receive the sacred focal point, Ohikari. She began to channel Johrei and to carry out our practice of faith at home. According to the possibilities and following the restriction measures, she goes to the Johrei Center to dedicate as much as she can. She feels increasingly better from her depressive condition. The amount of medication she was taking was reduced to less than half and in smaller doses. She returned to a social life, regained her weight, and boosted her self-esteem. Now she normally takes care of her home and family. Lucimara is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for allowing her to find a way to recover her physical and spiritual health through Johrei and serving the divine work. Very nice also experience from Barra Mansa of Lucimara. Thank you very much for listening to these words. I want to wish a very wonderful evening, wonderful rest of this weekend. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed evening.